Chosen one, stop scrolling immediately. Do not move past this video. I am not asking for your attention, I am commanding it. This is not a coincidence, and the algorithm absolutely did not bring you here. God intercepted your feed today because you are standing at the exact threshold of a permanent timeline shift. The enemy is working overtime to distract you right now. He is desperately hoping you will swipe away. He knows that if you hear this message, his hold over your life breaks completely. If you leave before the end, you will forfeit the exact prophetic instruction that guarantees the breakthrough you need. Lock your attention right now. The verdict on your next decade is about to be read. I need you to understand the absolute severity of this moment. This is not just another random message on your screen. This is a divine interception, heavily guarded by the spiritual forces watching over your bloodline. Every single moment that led you to this exact second was carefully orchestrated. If you scroll away now, you are actively choosing to stay blind to the brutal warfare happening in the unseen realm. You are choosing to let those energy vampires win. But you are a demonstrated warrior of light. Warriors do not retreat when the raw truth is finally placed in front of them. You have been feeling completely alone lately. The silence in your life has become totally deafening. People you trusted with your soul have vanished without a trace. They left you standing in the wreckage of broken promises. You wake up at 3 a.m. with your jaw tight. A heavy, suffocating weight presses down on your chest. You wonder if you did something wrong to chase everyone away. You wonder if your destiny is just to be abandoned by the very people you poured your light into. The loneliness feels like a physical punishment. You look around and see an empty room, and your mind whispers that you are entirely forgotten. But listen to me very carefully. You are not being punished. You are being aggressively protected. Heaven saw what was happening behind your back, and it took violent action. The universe did not casually drift you apart from these individuals. It forcefully severed those connections because you could not see the poison they were feeding you. You thought they were your loyal tribe, but they were energetic parasites slowly draining your life force. You were acting as a human battery for people who secretly resented your brilliance. You gave them your warmth, and they used it to sharpen their hidden knives. The isolation you are experiencing right now is not a symptom of your failure. It is a divine quarantine designed to shield your pure frequency from their toxic matrix programming. You are the lone wolf. This brutal separation was completely inevitable. You carry a specific, irreplaceable gravity that makes the matrix severely malfunction. When you walk into a room, your pure light acts as a glaring mirror. It exposes every hidden demon and buried insecurity in the fake people around you. They could not handle the blinding reflection of their own rotting souls, so they orchestrated a vicious smear campaign. They gossiped and whispered lies to anyone who would listen. They constructed a false narrative to justify why they left you. They expected your departure to absolutely destroy you. They waited with bated breath for you to crawl back and beg them for validation. But you did not beg, and your powerful restraint absolutely terrified them. You embraced the heavy silence. That quiet restraint became a lethal spiritual weapon. You stopped reaching out, and by doing so, you starved their demons of the fuel they desperately craved. Now, your physical body is absorbing the frantic, starving energy of those enemies. They just realized they permanently lost access to your light. That burning exhaustion behind your eyes is not just normal fatigue. It is the spiritual backlash of a forcibly severed connection. They are panicking in the dark while projecting a fake image of happiness into the world, but the facade is rapidly cracking. What I am about to reveal was sealed in the throne room of heaven until this exact second. There is a deeply bloody, spiritual reason why you were chosen to walk this path alone right now. This forced isolation is the final test before your ultimate elevation. You are the cycle breaker heaven has been waiting for. The generational patterns of betrayal that plagued your bloodline end entirely with you. You are being positioned to receive a mandate so heavy that those weak individuals would have been crushed. God had to remove them so they would not sabotage the massive blessing coming your way. They were simply too small for your next giant chapter. And more importantly, there is a massive, irreversible collapse happening right now to the very people who threw you away. They thought they won the battle, but they actually signed their own eviction notice from your grace. Do not look away. The universe is about to balance the scales in a way that will leave you completely breathless. If you stay with me until the very end, I am going to hand you the exact spiritual blueprint that decodes this brutal isolation. You are going to see the undeniable X-ray of their public meltdown. Their mask has not just slipped, it has completely and permanently shattered. Now let us go deeper into this physical reality you are currently enduring. I know you feel completely exhausted right now. The fatigue is not just in your muscles, it sits heavily inside your bones. You have been walking around with a deep brain fog for the past week, and every time you try to focus, a strange sensation wraps tightly around your mind. You are not going crazy, and this is absolutely not a medical issue. People might tell you that you are just stressed or working too hard, but you know deep down that this feels entirely different. There is a physical reason you have been feeling that heavy weight this week. That distinct, choking feeling sitting right in the middle of your throat is a massive spiritual indicator. I want you to pay close attention to that specific sensation in your throat. We will uncover exactly what that physical symptom means very soon. But first, you must understand your unique position in this world. You have always been the black sheep of your environment. Even when you were surrounded by people, you felt totally alienated from their shallow conversations. You never fit into the mold they desperately tried to force you into. They wanted you to be compliant and quiet, but you carry the spirit of a demonstrated warrior of light, and that brilliant light made them extremely uncomfortable. You were always the one they called when their lives were falling apart. You naturally stepped into the role of the stabilizer for everyone else. You listened to their endless complaints and absorbed their heavy emotional baggage. You acted as a human battery for people who refused to heal themselves. They plugged into your pure energy and drained you completely dry. And the moment you needed support, they suddenly vanished into thin air. You gave them your absolute best, and they handed you their absolute worst. This dynamic forced you into a constant state of somatic weight. Your physical body is literally keeping the score of every unseen spiritual attack. When you wake up panicked at 3 a.m., that is your highly advanced spirit detecting incoming warfare. Your nervous system is reacting to the frantic energy of the parasites you finally cut off. They are starving for your light. Your body knows exactly when someone is speaking your name in rooms you are not in. That sudden ringing in your ears is not a random glitch. It is your spiritual antenna picking up on their desperate gossip. They cannot stop talking about you because your absence left a massive void in their miserable lives. You were the only real thing they ever actually had. You are experiencing a severe frequency mismatch with the people you left behind. They operate on a vibration of envy and hidden malice. Meanwhile, you operate on a frequency of pure divine alignment. This massive gap in spiritual elevation is tearing at your physical vessel. You are not dealing with regular sadness. You are actively detoxing from a toxic matrix. It feels like you are wandering blindly through a thick spiritual desert. You sit there waiting in wound for an apology that will never come. You keep replaying the memories in your head. You wonder how people who claimed to love you could betray you so easily. That silent agony is the heaviest burden the lone wolf must carry. You feel completely misunderstood by the masses. The hardest part is looking back at the warning signs you actively ignored. You saw the red flags, but your beautiful heart chose to see their hidden potential instead. You stayed way too long because you truly believed your love could save them. But you cannot rescue people who are completely committed to their own dark programming. Your love was wasted on blind fools. But you are not a victim in this grand spiritual design. The universe is intentionally stripping away the noise so you can hear the truth. Every tear you shed in private is being weaponized for your ultimate victory. You are the irreplaceable diamond that they foolishly threw into the dirt. And diamonds are only formed under the most crushing and brutal pressure imaginable. They looked at your kindness and mistook it for utter weakness, but your pure heart is exactly what qualifies you for this upcoming mandate. Heaven requires a vessel that has been tested in the fires of extreme isolation. You are the cycle breaker who will finally rewrite the history of your entire bloodline. The pain you feel right now is simply the friction of massive growth. I need you to breathe deeply and let this raw truth settle into your bones. Stop questioning your own sanity. Stop swallowing that burning feeling back down into your chest. Your physical symptoms are divine alarms, proving that a massive shift is already underway. The people who abandoned you did you the greatest favor of your entire life. They freed you from their sinking ship. You are finally unplugged from the matrix that was secretly destroying your potential. This is a very sacred moment of absolute clarity. If your spirit confirms this raw truth, gently press the like button to seal your energetic alignment with heaven and put a shield around this revelation. Let me completely reframe your reality right here and right now. You have been carrying a heavy confusion about why they left, and I need you to remember that choking sensation in your throat I mentioned earlier. That burning feeling is not grief over losing a genuine friend. It is your physical body actively purging a massive spiritual infection. Stop swallowing it. You were infected by people who operated as literal energy parasites. When the universe violently ripped them away from you, your body went into withdrawal. That tightness in your neck is the exact spot where their energetic cord was attached. They were feeding on your voice and silencing your authentic truth. Now that the cord is cut, your spirit is finally breathing again, and you must realize that you are not mourning a genuine loss. These people did not enter your life to build a beautiful future together. They came because they were starving in the dark. You have to understand that these individuals are completely empty inside. They lack the divine spark that flows so naturally through your veins. They looked at your brilliant light and saw a free meal, and you must realize that you were never a partner to them, but a convenient supply station. Every time they smiled at you, they were calculating what they could extract. They mirrored your good qualities to trick you into dropping your walls. You thought you were building a deep connection with a kindred spirit, but you were actually just looking at a hollow reflection of your own beautiful soul. They do not know how to love because they are fundamentally broken, and they only know how to fiercely consume whatever you give them. When a parasite finds a host with endless empathy, it digs its claws deep. You gave them endless chances because your heart is pure gold. You made countless excuses for their highly toxic behavior, and while you were busy trying to heal their wounds, they were quietly transferring their heavy demons onto you. That is why you felt so drained, while they suddenly seemed so vibrant and alive. But here is the raw truth they could never say out loud. They absolutely hated you for the very light they were stealing. Deep down, they knew they could never replicate your pure divine alignment. Your mere existence reminded them of everything they severely lacked, and the more you shined, the more their internal darkness felt completely exposed. Your innocent kindness felt like a burning spotlight on their shame. They could never step up to your elevated frequency, so they actively decided to drag you down into their miserable mud. They started planting tiny seeds of doubt in your brilliant mind. They criticized your dreams and subtly mocked your huge ambitions. Their goal was to make you completely dependent on their fake validation because they wanted you to feel small so they could finally feel big. But heaven was watching this entire disgusting charade unfold. The universe saw that your beautiful soul was being suffocated by these vampires. God knew that you would never willingly abandon them because you are too loyal. So the divine realm had to orchestrate a massive intervention on your behalf, and the universe forced them to show their true colors, so you would finally let them go. That horrible betrayal you experienced was not a tragic accident. It was a perfectly timed rescue mission orchestrated by heaven. The mask had to slip in the most brutal way possible. If they had just faded away peacefully, you would have spent years trying to find them. The universe had to make their exit so violently painful that you would never invite them back into your sacred energy field. Now they are walking around acting like they are doing just fine. They post happy pictures and pretend that losing you meant absolutely nothing. But do not fall for that cheap matrix illusion. They are frantically jumping from person to person right now, and they are desperately searching for a new battery to plug into. But nobody else carries the specific rare frequency of the lone wolf. Every new person they meet feels completely dull compared to your pure light. The new supply cannot sustain their heavy demonic attachments, and in the quiet hours of the night, extreme panic is starting to set in. They are beginning to realize the catastrophic mistake they just made because they threw away a priceless diamond to play with cheap, dirty rocks. You did not lose anything of value when they walked away. You merely dropped a massive bag of heavy garbage that was holding you back. You are the cycle breaker, and your path requires absolute pristine energy. The spiritual realm cleared your space because a massive blessing is trying to land, and you cannot receive a royal mandate while entertaining court jesters. This brings us to a critical distinction that eludes the vast majority of people. You probably think your current silence is making you look weak to them. You might worry that they think they won this silent battle. But this is exactly where their entire manipulation completely miscalculated, because your absence is not a sign of defeat. Your silence is actually tearing them apart. You probably did not realize it at the time, but your absolute silence became a completely lethal weapon against their matrix. When you finally walked away, you initiated a devastating spiritual protocol. The dark entities expected you to fight back and scream. They desperately wanted you to beg for closure because they thrive on that chaotic energy. But you gave them absolutely nothing. That zero contact was not a cowardly retreat from the battlefield. It was the most terrifying, aggressive move you could have ever made. You see, parasites cannot survive without a constant stream of fresh blood. By cutting the cord, you literally starved their demons of the exact oxygen they desperately needed to breathe and survive. Your silence suffocated their dark supply. They assumed you were sitting in a dark room crying over their sudden absence. They projected their own pathetic weakness onto your massive strength. They thought the cold silence meant you were completely broken, but your stillness was actually the terrifying calm of a warrior who finally stopped playing their foolish games. When you refuse to react, you completely dismantle their entire false reality and force them into a corner. A manipulator relies entirely on your emotional response to validate their twisted existence, because without your pure energy, they are absolutely nothing. If you get angry, they feel incredibly powerful. Any emotional reaction simply feeds the gaping black hole sitting inside their chest. But absolute silence leaves them completely starving in the cold. It forces them to look into the terrifying void of their own rotting souls. Without your bright light to distract them, they are trapped alone with their heavy demons. That is exactly why they are currently panicking behind closed doors right now. They might send flying monkeys to hover around your sacred space. These are the weak friends who suddenly check on you just to report back to the enemy. They are trying to poke you to see if the wound is still bleeding. They want any small proof that they still hold some miserable power over your brilliant mind. Do not give them a single crumb. Your refusal to engage is severely punishing them on a deep cellular level. Every day you maintain this holy boundary, you are taking back a massive piece of your scattered soul. The universe is watching your beautiful restraint. Heaven honors the boundary you boldly set against those who repeatedly disrespected your divine alignment. You are not just healing from a bad connection, you are actively starving a demonic entity that tried to ruin your divine destiny. Your silence is the heavy armor of the lone wolf. It completely repels their pathetic attempts to drag you back into the mud. You are completely unplugging from their toxic matrix forever. This is the exact moment you reclaim absolute authority over your precious energy field. The spiritual realm requires a physical act of obedience to completely seal this boundary forever. Type 777 in the comments right now to physically claim your power as the lone wolf before we move to the next revelation. By typing that sacred number, you are declaring a permanent eviction notice. You are telling the universe that the old door is locked and securely bolted. They can knock all they want, but the house is completely empty. You have ascended to a high frequency they can no longer reach, and they are left choking on your dust. Notice how your physical body feels when you maintain this absolute distance. The thick brain fog finally begins to lift. The heavy weight on your chest starts to slowly dissolve. That is your spiritual immune system finally clearing out the toxic infection they left behind in your energy field. You are returning to your pristine, ageless glow. They thought they were punishing you with their harsh rejection, but they accidentally handed you the master key to your own absolute freedom. You used the heavy bricks they threw at you to build an impenetrable fortress. And from the top of that wall, you can see exactly how small and completely pathetic they truly are. But you must remain entirely vigilant in this sacred season of isolation. The enemy is incredibly tricky. When the silence gets too loud for them, they will try one final desperate tactic to break your intense focus. They will attempt to orchestrate a massive illusion to make you completely doubt your own brilliant intuition. This brings us to the hidden warfare currently happening just out of sight. There are three terrifying truths unfolding in their dark world right now. They are desperately trying to keep these dirty secrets hidden from you, but the universe is about to expose every single detail for you to see clearly. You are about to step into the most shocking revelation of this entire message. What happens next is mathematically precise and absolutely unavoidable. Heaven is pulling back the curtain on their fake reality. Prepare your spirit, because the divine judgment has already been passed on their miserable lives. Heaven is now releasing three specific, terrifying truths. These secrets are currently actively destroying the fake reality of your enemies. The universe hid these facts behind closed doors to protect your energy field, but the heavy veil is finally lifting today. You must pay very close attention to the third truth. The third revelation is the most powerful. If you miss this final truth, you will completely misunderstand their current panic. Listen to me very closely right now. The first terrifying truth is their complete quantum misalignment. When they forcefully severed their sacred connection to your pure light, they entirely lost their essential bio-spiritual resonance. Their suppressed, synchronized coherence is completely failing them while their world burns. They used your golden aura as a protective shield against their own heavy karma. But without your high frequency stabilizing their environment, their energetic structure is rapidly collapsing. They are experiencing a severe multi-dimensional recoil. Every single negative thought they projected onto you is bouncing back, and it is hitting their nervous system with massive destructive force. This is not just an illusion of the physical world. This is a mathematically precise karmic reverberation designed by the highest spiritual courts. Your enemies are literally suffocating in their own toxic matrix programming. They desperately try to manifest success, but their corrupted frequency absolutely repels every single blessing. Heaven permanently blocked their access to divine abundance. You are witnessing the absolute destruction of a spiritual parasite. This brings us to the second horrifying truth happening right now. They are suffering from extreme frequency cannibalism. The flying monkeys they gathered to destroy you are turning completely rogue. Those weak followers are starting to aggressively attack the master manipulator in the dark because they are starving for new supply. A fake tribe built on lies and gossip can never survive the light of day. Because they lack your pure divine alignment, they are turning on each other like starving wolves. The narcissistic leader is rapidly losing control of their twisted narrative. The loyal servants are suddenly waking up to the massive deception, and they quickly realize they backed the entirely wrong side. The manipulator is frantically trying to plug the holes in their sinking ship, but the energetic implosion is absolutely unstoppable. They are drinking the same poison they so desperately tried to force down your throat. Read that again in your spirit. They are drinking their own deadly venom, and they have absolutely no antidote to cure this spiritual disease. Your glorious silence was the exact catalyst that activated this divine justice. By completely removing your stabilizing energy, you allowed their house of cards to naturally collapse. You do not need to lift a single physical finger against them. The universe is fighting this brutal spiritual war on your behalf, and heaven is executing a perfect checkmate right in front of them. Every time they look in the mirror, they see the heavy rot spreading in their soul. They are desperately trying to perform a cellular reset. But you cannot intellectually solve a spiritual curse with cheap matrix tricks, especially when heaven has already signed the final verdict. They are trapped in a low vibrational prison, and the heavy steel walls of that dark prison are shrinking rapidly. They thought they could simply replace your irreplaceable diamond energy. They brought in new supplies to mimic the incredible warmth you gave them freely, but a cheap glass bead can never replicate your brilliant shine. The new supplies are already draining them completely dry. The parasites are finally being brutally fed upon by much worse entities. Now prepare your spirit for the third and most devastating truth. This is the exact secret the enemy tried so incredibly hard to hide from you. I told you earlier that the third revelation carries the heaviest weight. The universe sealed this knowledge until your heart was completely ready to process the magnitude of their massive failure. Do not look away. The third truth is that they secretly know you were their only salvation. Underneath all the arrogant noise and fake smiles, a terrifying realization is crushing their chest because they finally see your true worth. They are profoundly aware that throwing you away was the biggest mistake of their eternal existence. They absolutely know they crossed a sacred boundary that can never be safely uncrossed. They feel the divine protection that currently surrounds your massive aura. They can clearly sense your ageless glow expanding while they rapidly decay in the dark, and it absolutely terrifies their fragile ego. The most agonizing part of their punishment is the clear awareness of what they lost. Heaven forces them to watch you rise from the absolute bottom of their pit. Stay with me right here, because the physical manifestation of this third truth is about to explode, and the internal collapse we just dissected will become a highly public spectacle. You are standing on the very edge of the ultimate climax. The invisible warfare is finally bleeding over into the reality everyone can actively witness. Now I need you to step fully into your absolute royal power. This is the exact moment you realize the massive magnitude of your own light. You are not a broken survivor limping away from a tragic battlefield. You are a sovereign entity who just completely transcended their toxic matrix. You are the irreplaceable diamond, and your value is absolutely infinite. Every tear you cried in the dark has crystallized into heavy spiritual armor. They genuinely thought your isolation would break your spirit entirely. They expected to see you wandering around with dull eyes and heavy shoulders, begging for any scrap of their fake validation. But they vastly underestimated the divine fire burning deeply inside your chest. Look at how you carry yourself right now. You are literally aging backwards. While their bitterness and envy are aging them like bad milk left in the hot sun, the universe has completely reversed your biological clock. You stepped into a room looking younger and brighter after everything they put you through. You carry a specific gravity that makes time itself look like an absolute fool. They are watching your ageless glow from afar, and it makes them violently sick. They spent years actively praying for your inevitable downfall. They meticulously planned every move to ensure you would stay beneath them forever, but you walked through their burning fire and came out shining like gold. You cracked a divine code they will never have the clearance to access. Your silence is ringing louder than their desperate screams. You became the heavy uncertainty they were never built to handle. You did not just survive their massive storm, you became the blazing sun that completely evaporated their dark clouds. Your very existence is a huge slap in the face to their pathetic, fragile egos. I want you to vividly imagine the intense panic spreading through their camp right now. Imagine the frantic text messages they are sending in the middle of the night. Their flying monkeys are returning with absolutely zero new information to feed the beast. They try to pry into your life, but your high frequency completely blinds their dark senses. They are physically shaking behind closed doors. The realization is hitting them in massive, suffocating waves. They are desperately trying to convince themselves that they are completely fine without you. But every time they look at their empty hands, they remember the incredible warmth you used to provide. They know they threw away the only genuine diamond they ever held. And they threw it away just to play with incredibly cheap rocks. The people they replaced you with are already becoming incredibly heavy burdens. The new supply is constantly draining them and demanding the energy they no longer possess. They are trapped in a horrible nightmare of their own making, and the doors are securely locked from the outside. You must understand the massive power of your current position. You are totally untouchable. Your frequency is vibrating so high that their low-level curses simply bounce off your aura. You are seated on a throne they can only dream of touching. You are the chosen one, and your spiritual coronation is happening right now in plain sight. Share this specific message with one soul who is desperately crying out in the dark. Be their angel today. There is someone out there wondering why they are so alone right now. Send this to them so they can finally realize their incredible power. Help them understand that their heavy isolation is actually a glorious royal preparation. By sharing this truth, you are actively building the remnant army. You are connecting the cycle breakers across the globe and forming an unbreakable shield of pure light. Together, you will completely shatter the remaining strongholds of the dark elite. You are a demonstrated warrior of light, and your tribe is rising right now. But we are not finished here. The internal panic they are experiencing is just the quiet tremor before the massive earthquake. We are about to cross the final threshold. You stayed in this isolation for a deeply important reason, and the universe is finally ready to show you the massive reward for your incredibly painful obedience. What happens next is not happening in secret. The divine courts have moved the execution completely out into the open. The silence is over. I need you to brace your spirit for the absolute destruction of their false image. The universe is about to roll the tapes, and everyone is finally going to clearly see the horrible monsters hiding behind those fake smiles. This is the exact moment the universe delivers absolute divine justice. The private panic we uncovered is no longer hiding in the shadows. It is spilling out into the open streets for everyone to witness. The mask did not just slip down a little bit today. It entirely shattered in front of the exact people they used to gossip with. The public collapse you have been waiting for is happening right now. They walked into a room expecting to command the same false respect they always demanded, but the atmosphere violently rejected their heavy, toxic energy. The flying monkeys who hung on their every word suddenly looked at them with complete disgust. The spell is entirely broken. Their web of lies is unraveling at an absolutely terrifying speed. Someone finally asked them a direct question they could not manipulate their way out of. And right there in the open, their entire system crashed. They started stuttering and shifting the blame in a desperate panic. But nobody bought the cheap illusion this time. They are being exposed as the hollow frauds they truly are. The people they tried to impress are currently backing away in sheer horror. Every single lie they told about you is suddenly coming back to completely destroy their own reputation, because the universe never forgets a stolen blessing. They thought they buried your good name in the dirt, but they actually dug their own public grave. They are experiencing a complete nervous system overload right in public. Their hands are literally shaking as they try to hold on to their crumbling false reality. The fake confidence they always wore like a cheap suit is totally gone. It is replaced by a frantic desperation that everyone can clearly see. They are reeking of absolute defeat. Imagine the agonizing weight of their supreme humiliation right now. They are frantically looking around the room for anyone to defend them, but they are completely alone in a crowd of their own making. The universe orchestrated this public execution to clear your name permanently. You did not have to defend yourself or say a single word. Their loyal flying monkeys are completely abandoning the sinking ship. The very people who helped them tear you down are now turning their sharp teeth against the master manipulator. It is a spectacular festival of betrayal happening in their own dark camp, and they are tearing each other apart because your divine light is no longer there to feed them. Your silence was the lethal weapon that allowed this destruction to manifest. God stepped into the courtroom and slammed the heavy gavel down. The verdict is completely irreversible. They are losing their social standing, their fake friends, and their entire fabricated identity. Their dark empire is burning straight to the absolute ground. You are witnessing the absolute power of the cycle breaker. Your enemies are choking on the very ashes of the bridges they foolishly burned. They try to speak your name to gain some twisted relevance, but the words turn to dry dust in their mouths. The universe has put a strict gag order on their spirit. They are spiritually bankrupt and utterly exposed. This is the brutal karmic return for touching the anointed ones. You were severely isolated, so you would not be hit by the flying debris of their massive collapse. Heaven pulled you back, so you could safely watch the tower fall from a high mountain. You are sitting on a throne of absolute victory, while they crawl helplessly in the mud. While they are drowning in their public shame, your aura is blinding the entire room. You do not even have to be physically present to command absolute respect. Your energetic signature is dominating the space they are failing in. They feel your heavy absence like a massive crushing weight on their chest. The ghost of your pure grace haunts them. They are literally weeping over the massive consequences of their own actions. They pushed you into the cold, dark wilderness, expecting you to completely starve, but you came back leading the entire powerful wolf pack. And now they are the ones freezing outside the heavy iron gates. They are entirely locked out of the abundant timeline. The justice of heaven is incredibly precise and brutally thorough. God did not just remove the knife from your back, but he took that exact same blade and used it to completely dismantle their false kingdom. The isolation you hated so much was actually your heavy shield. It protected your pure frequency from the explosive fallout of their total destruction. Do you see the magnificent perfection of this divine alignment now? The universe forced you to cut ties so you would not sink with their heavy ship. Every moment of your silent agony was completely necessary to set up this exact public victory. The pain of your isolation was merely the extremely high price of your permanent, absolute freedom. The divine ultimatum I promised you at the very beginning is finally complete. This is the raw X-ray of the public meltdown heaven prepared for those who abused your grace. You are completely vindicated in the eyes of the highest spiritual courts. The heavy chains of their toxic matrix have been completely shattered into a million tiny pieces. The brutal spiritual war is finally over. You walked out of the dark wilderness entirely untouched by their heavy malice. The gorgeous armor you wear right now is completely impenetrable to their weak attacks. And while they are scrambling to find a new victim, God has permanently sealed your energetic borders against all future matrix programming. You are breathing the rare air of absolute victory. The crushing isolation you hated so much is now your greatest kingdom. You are no longer waiting in wound for any fake closure from those broken people. You gave yourself the absolute closure they were entirely too weak to provide. Your powerful spirit is completely free from their toxic attachments, and you stand completely sovereign on your bright new throne. This glorious victory belongs exclusively to you and your pure heart. But a massive blessing requires an equally massive and clean container. Your old toxic environment was far too small for the explosive abundance rushing toward you right now. You had to be violently separated from their low frequency because the universe needed to clean your house perfectly before the real blessing arrived. Your entire bloodline is permanently altered by your glorious restraint. The heavy generational curses of betrayal are completely dead on arrival. You are the demonstrated warrior of light who stood entirely alone against the suffocating dark. Because you held the line when everyone else ran away, the highest courts of heaven are incredibly pleased with your silent obedience. You passed the test. Let the deep peace wash completely over your physical body right now. The thick, heavy brain fog is permanently gone. The terrible choking weight on your chest has completely evaporated into thin air. You are vibrating at the highest frequency known to this dimension, and your beautiful ageless glow is permanently locked in place for the entire world to clearly witness. They will never again have the power to dim your brilliant shine. You have successfully starved every single parasite that tried to drain your pure soul. The lone wolf no longer wanders blindly in the cold, freezing snow. You are currently leading the entire powerful pack from a high mountain they can never climb, and your supreme elevation is completely undeniable to anyone watching. But now, we must permanently seal this incredible timeline shift. The spiritual realm operates on exact, universal laws of fair exchange. You cannot simply nod your head and expect the massive gates of abundance to swing open automatically. You must actively participate in this divine shift to fully claim it, because a heavy crown requires a strong, willing neck to carry its massive weight. The logical left side of your brain will try to inject doubt right now. It will loudly whisper that this message was just a random, comforting speech, but your spirit absolutely knows the heavy, raw truth. You can literally feel the deep cellular knowing vibrating intensely in your tired bones, so you must silence the matrix programming immediately before it steals your complete focus. We are entering the most sacred phase of this entire divine transmission. You have successfully passed the brutal test of lonely isolation. Now the entire universe is quietly watching to see exactly how you respond to absolute authority. It is time to anchor this massive incoming miracle into your physical reality before the fragile portal completely closes forever. God does not measure your deep faith by your passing intellectual thoughts. He measures your pure devotion entirely by your speed of immediate obedience. When heaven drops a massive prophetic revelation directly into your lap, it requires an immediate physical response. You must show the universe that you completely trust this divine transition by stepping out in radical blind faith. You did not survive the burning fire just to live a completely mediocre life. The final verdict of explosive abundance has already been permanently signed in heaven, but it desperately requires a physical anchor on this earth to fully activate the heavy flow. Your silent spiritual agreement must become a tangible, earthly action, because you cannot let the dark matrix block your massive shift. The massive window of divine multiplication is standing wide open right now. This specific portal of royal energy will absolutely not remain open forever. You must step completely through the heavy door before the enemy tries to pull you back into the dark. Your extreme physical generosity is the exact key that triggers the massive harvest waiting patiently for your specific command. Prove to the divine realm that you are finally ready to receive your royal mandate. Sow your financial seed today through super thanks to completely partner your finances with this divine truth. Your physical obedience forces the universe to open the floodgates of wealth and watch heaven multiply your brutal isolation into explosive abundance while your enemies completely starve in the dark. Do this one single physical act right now to permanently unlock the massive harvest. Leave your generous seed on the altar of this sacred sanctuary and seal your protective shield forever. Step fully into your completely untouchable power and never look back at those broken peasants again. You are the chosen one, and your eternal reign starts right here and right now.